Stephan's corner, and Jimmy Lutz will have Chris Webster, who's back out again over on the far side. So it'll be Jimmy Lutz on the left, Stephan Hansen on the right-hand side as we look down the lane.
On target 2, Stephan Hansen. And your line judge for today is Brian Gillum.
That's Alex's dad, Brian Gilliam. I didn't see Alex here this week.
You know what? I did not even venture down to the recurve field. I've been so busy between shooting and
well, that's the thing.
thing.
You of course, being part of the host club here, when you're not shooting, you're being dragged into running around in carts and refilling water.
So this wasn't as much of a get a hangout with my friends as normal, but we'll all catch up at nationals, I'm sure.
Yeah, as I say, that should be a great event. So if you've not registered, usarchery.org to get signed up for that. Stephan Hansen will get us underway.
10.
And he starts with a 10.
You know, and right now, if conditions stay the way they are, I don't suspect either of these guys are going to drop too many points. It's just going to be a matter of how and when, and you know how they recover from that. But
10.
well, I think it'll be a good while before we see anything crazy happen.
They started with, I say, 3 10s and an X. Can they keep the good times rolling? Well, there we go. Okay, Jimmy Lutz drops that one. A 1 point difference then. Stephan Hansen with the 30, with the maximum. Jimmy Lutz with 29.
And as we talked about before, though, with the ladies, I mean, that switch can happen just like that.
Did anything misbehave on that final arrow?
I mean, I can feel the wind a little bit.
It's coming a little bit more into our faces, isn't it?
It could have been, you know, just playing with the mind a little bit. I don't know exactly what they're feeling sometimes. So sometimes what's interesting about the wind is sometimes it just blows the arrow and sometimes it's blowing you. And sometimes it blows you, but not the arrow. And so you have to, whether or not you're feeling anything, you have to constantly be looking not only at the windsock, but the direction of the wind. How much are you going to compensate? And if it is blowing you, now you're also fighting that wind because you're trying to aim where you know you need to aim, and it's constantly blowing, and your mind's trying to get you to aim in the center. So it's a whole mind game when this wind comes in, and a lot of thoughts that are going through each archer's mind. And everyone has their own way of dealing with it and managing it. And these guys have plenty of experience doing it, and so I'm sure they're not overly worried about what's to come.
Just a reminder of the gold medals that have gone before. Brady Ellison taking gold in recurve men. Casey Cotfold recurve women. The compound,
both some good matches there. Those were
some very good matches. The compound senior women, which seems an age ago because that was the first one that got us underway after the weather delay. That was Sachiko Keen defeating Tanya Galantine. Back-to-back golds, SoCal and now Buckeye. And then for barebow senior men, Michael Weaver taking the gold there, and Diane Cochran defeating Cindy Zacco to take gold for barebow women. So it's Jimmy Lutz to get us underway with the second end, trailing by a point. Starts with a strong
Doesn't phase him at all. Stephan's up, you know, the wind's cooperating. It's at least being consistent. And drills an X. We're back to compounds. That means cumulative scoring. Not every arrow counts. There's no leeway here. And, you know, that 20-second clock can be tricky with wind. Right now, luckily it's being cooperative. But as we saw with the men's recurve, sometimes you kind of get the bad end and have to just power through with your 20 seconds and insanity. But some great shooting from these guys. 10s all around.
Who's going to blink first? And that's not a bad bunching either there from Jimmy Lutz. A good response. Good response. He only dropped the 1 point. It sounded as if it was some huge disaster in the first end, but strong from both archers. 1 point will remain the difference between these two.
Well, we did just see the huge lightning strike right behind those trees. And so seemingly still far enough away. And let's hope it stays that way for 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, yeah. And then
10 more minutes,
we can
get
speak
outta
to
here.
whoever the winner is and
Yes.
bid our goodbyes. And that is not my stomach rumbling. I've gone without lunch, but that is thunder.
You can see a little bit of the panic in their eyes
They're all
hearing that
kind
again.
of looking around them.
Waiting to hear whether or not they're going to let them shoot. But I think we have enough time. I think that storm's still far enough away that we're going to be able to finish this without any problems.
And they're scoring down the far end. No pressure on them to just kind of speed it up a little bit. There we
struggling.
go. And they're battling.
I mean, the hard part about these are pretty fresh targets, and they have not been shot all weekend. And so having to shoot that core, these guys I know are probably maxed out with their poundage, so they're not quite easy to pull. I've been there, done that.
That's not a job you wanted.
No,
that's
not
not
at
the
all.
one. No.
My hands are tired from the rest of the week already.
So we're going to go into the third end then. Just 1 point still separating these two. That was the difference at the end of set one. And as you can see around the field, it's beginning to get dismantled. Again, it's a heck of a job to get everything set up and then get everything stripped away and packed away, and more so when you know that there's impending weather that is going to be making its way.
Jimmy starts again because he's down on a point, so he'll be leading us off on the third end with an X. Easy. You know, compound's also a little bit different from recurve because we shoot all 5 ends for our cumulative score, and recurve, whoever gets to 6 points first. And so it's one of those things that could be over in 3 ends. It could go, as we saw with Casey and Jenny, could go all 5 ends and then still have a shoot off by the end of it. We don't get so lucky at being able to cut ours short. A couple of X's for Jimmy though. He is dialed in. I don't think he's gonna easily let another one go.
So it's whether Stephan Hansen has got maximums in him between now and the end. Looks like he is, as you say, pretty dialed in as well.
Yeah. You know, these guys, it's really impressive to watch. I always enjoy it. I feel like us ladies, we talk about it all the time, how much we aim as best as we can, but we feel like we move very much. Like, not the way that the guys describe it, the way we describe it, 2 completely different shot processes in what we're seeing. And so being able to see them just sit there and hold, it's super impressive to nail that X.
6 X's there. That is impressive. But again, it's that the first end, dropping that 1 point on his third arrow. Jimmy Lutz with a 9. That remains the difference.
You know, and that's kind of opposite of what we saw with Tanya and Sachi earlier, with them being pretty even up until that 4th end where Tanya had thrown that wild shot. And that was, as we kind of discussed, that's going to be much harder to come back from. You only have 1 more end to make that up. Jimmy has this, 2 more ends at this point, and he's doing the best he can to make sure he doesn't drop another one.
And he's getting to the line early. He's eager.
He wants to get this over with. He's done with these, because we were all actually just in Metropolis. And Metropolis, the second day, pretty much got canceled because of rain and storms as well. So this is something that we are unfortunately associated with a lot in the last month. And I don't think any of us want to sit in our cars any longer than we have to anymore. That one's a real close one. It's a 9-10 liner. They're calling it a 10. We'll see what the judge says. We're not super close up on the arrow. It looks to give advantage to the 10. Stephan not moving, just drilling X's. No problem. Left 9 for Jimmy. He's not happy with that shot. Not at all. Unclear if that's something that was him movement, where maybe he pushed his front arm a little too much, shot to the left. Maybe he was aiming there. We have no clue what was going on, but clearly he knew it was going there and wasn't thrilled.
He's got it back, but
Finishes strong with
that
the
is
10.
going to be a 2-point gap if Stephan Hansen can land another 10. And that might just be too much
A little bit of a
going
long
into
hold,
the fifth end, but I mean, he has been quite superb as Stephan Hansen.
Absolutely. I mean, 6 X's in a row, I think.
That is mightily impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, even had Jimmy gone perfect there, the gap still would have been 1 because Stephan hasn't blinked.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see if he can throw up another 150. He just did it in his last match. It'd be cool to see him do it again. Filmed this time, you know.
Yes.
Nice to recall. Go back and look at once in a while.
150 to finish off for Stephan Hansen in conversation with Matthias Fullerton. And Jimmy, I think his expression says it all.
He knows that it's going to be a matter of he has to stay perfect and just hope at this point that Stephan drops something.
I mean, you can't see him landing an 8, but possibly 2 9s. That's the only way you're maybe going to get the 2-point swing.
I mean, anything can happen, though. I mean,
as you say, yes.
This is the fun of archery.
So Matthias just giving some final few words. And Matthias Fullerton was World Youth Championships in Ireland 2 years ago, and again you look at the curve that he's been on.
Yeah, he's been on a roll for sure. Really impressive shooting, indoor and outdoor. He's picking it up ASA pretty quickly, and I think he just podiumed there. And so it's exciting to see all the people your age kind of coming up and doing what needs to be done. Showing up some of these older folks.
You were looking at me when you said older folks.
No, not at all, Richard. Not at all.
Jimmy with an 8 there. That's well, it's slipping away from him. Unfortunately, that 4-point gap in the final end. He's got it back with a 10. Mightily disappointing from Jimmy's standpoint because such a high standard.
Absolutely. I'm sure he's frustrated. I mean, I would be definitely kicking myself up there, but he recovers so well. Seeing how he'll go and shoot those straight arrows and come right back and put it in the 10. And I think that's something that people underestimate how difficult that is to do, to overcome that and still bring back perfection. And Stephan does it though with a 150.
150, and again, there's 146 on another day could have been enough.
Absolutely. And Jimmy, it didn't even matter these last few arrows because now that Stephan ended with a 150, that match was gone that first end, which is unfortunate. But still, I mean, what do you do when someone shoots a 150 against you?
And I think the other thing as well from Jimmy's standpoint, there was just one rogue arrow, an end, and almost inexplicable. And you could see there was almost kind of, I wouldn't say confusion, but just kind of unable to kind of fathom why the arrow had gone where it had. But obviously, vastly experienced Jimmy Lutz, and he'll be another that's heading to the World Championships with a phenomenal team that the USA will have for the World Youth, the World Championships, and the World Para, and high expectations, high standards, and a lot of